Welcome back to the Willadelphia show, everybody! Yesterday, ESPN's Adam Schefter reported that the Eagles and the Patriots are likely to revisit a trade for star wide receiver AJ Brown post-June 1st, so that if he is traded, it will save the Eagles money against the cap. I'll tell you why this story is still a nothing burger and why I still believe that AJ will be an Eagle in 2026. The Flyers took a 2-0 lead in the best-of-7 playoff series against the Pittsburgh Penguins last night with a 3-0 shutout victory. The series is headed back to Philadelphia on Wednesday night, and I'll tell you why the Flyers are as dangerous as anyone in the playoffs right now. The Phillies have lost 6 games in a row and have fallen to 8-14 on the young season. This has led to people panicking and speculating that manager Rob Thompson is on the hot seat. I think it's justified, but he shouldn't be the only one. All that and more coming up right here on the Willadelphia Show. Oh, it's good to see all of yous once again. My name is Will Barbera, and this is the Willadelphia Show. Thanks so much for tuning in one more time. We do appreciate it, and we do love all of yous, and we appreciate everybody that is a regular here at the Willadelphia Show. But you guys know the drill. We got no time to waste. We never do, because we got 3 major Philly sports teams in this episode to talk about. So as per usual, let's get into it. Our first topic of the day. Yesterday at 6:45 a.m., ESPN's Adam Schefter reported that the Eagles are likely to re-explore a trade for disgruntled star wide receiver AJ Brown after the June 1st designation, and it would be to the New England Patriots. This is the latest in what has been an exhausting offseason for the Eagles revolving around Brown. I thought we would be done with this after the Diana Rossini and Mike Vrabel situation last week, but now the mainstream media is taking this as a sign that the two teams have a deal in place and that all that's holding them back is the timing of this trade. Let me see if you guys have heard me say this before anytime recently. I'm not buying it. Not buying it. Not buying it for a nickel, Adam. And I know you guys have heard me say that a lot. And I know some of you guys are out there thinking, what do you mean you're not buying it, Will? This is Adam Schefter. It means it's a guarantee. If Schefter reports it, he's never wrong about anything, ever. I don't care. I simply don't care. And you know why I don't care? I've heard Howie Roseman, Jeffrey Lurie, and Nick Sirianni all say the exact same thing over and over and over again this offseason. AJ Brown is a hell of a football player, and he is a Philadelphia Eagle. Howie Roseman's got to be sick and tired of telling the media that they have little to no interest in trading AJ Brown. Not to mention when AJ went on that podcast a few months ago and said that Philly is his home, he loves the Eagles, and that he believes change is a good thing when it was related to the Eagles bringing in new coordinators to try and fix the passing woes from last season. So, let's just recap here. We have the Eagles owner, general manager, head coach, and star wide receiver all saying that there is no interest in trading AJ Brown from the Philadelphia Eagles. And on the other side of things, you have Mike Vrabel's lover kicking up a fuss for the past 6 months to try and make something happen, and nothing budged. And now, Adam Schefter, desperate to grab a popcorn headline to keep his name in the news of what is now a slow NFL offseason, has resorted to reporting breaking news stories about something that may or may not happen 2 months from now. And all he's really saying is something that Eagles fans have known for months at this point. If the Eagles trade A.J. Brown before June 1st, they owe $43.5 million in cap space. That, by the way, is the 3rd highest single cap hit for a team or a single player in NFL history. And if they trade him after June 1st, it's only about $20 million in cap. That's all the information that Adam Schefter gave. And the media grabbed that and made it seem like the Eagles were actively packing A.J. Brown's bags already to ship him to New England. And you know what's going to be really funny? It's going to be so funny when the Eagles don't trade him. I can't wait for that. I can't wait until all of this fuss has been kicked up for absolutely no reason so I can just sit back and point and belly laugh at the people who actually thought that this was going to happen despite no reporter giving any type of credible evidence. And I think that this report really stems from the report that came out on Monday that the Eagles are preparing for the draft like AJ Brown isn't on the team. By the way, all that means is that the Eagles are probably going to take a wide receiver in the first 3 rounds of the draft just in case somebody makes the Eagles an offer they can't refuse to get AJ Brown off the team. And what you guys know of Howie Roseman, do you really think he's not going to be prepared for whatever comes out of this? And that doesn't mean that AJ's going to be traded. That's not a guarantee whatsoever. All it is Howie being ready for anything. And that's what I want in a GM. That's all the report was saying. And does that mean that I don't want AJ Brown to be traded, if that's what you're asking yourself? Listen, if I'm being honest, I'm pretty indifferent about it at this point. If this is what it's going to continue leading to, then it's better off that the Eagles just trade the best wide receiver I've ever seen don an Eagles uniform. Because I'm tired and exhausted of putting up with this shit. I really am. And if it's getting rid of the headache, then yeah, trade him. I'm all for it. But I don't think that's where the Eagles' heads are at. I think that all of this is an elaborate ruse by the New England Patriots to get the Eagles to lower their asking price for AJ Brown. Reports have been surfacing that the Eagles are looking for a first and a second round pick in return for AJ. And after the Jalen Waddle trade to the Broncos earlier this offseason that saw Miami recoup a first and a third for a guy that's never been a number 1 receiver in any offense as a pro, then yeah, I think a first and a second for a true number 1 wide receiver like AJ Brown makes a whole hell of a lot of sense, pardon me. And if the Patriots don't meet that price, then guess what? You don't get AJ Brown. And I don't think that they will meet that asking price. I think it's probably too rich for their blood, and therefore AJ Brown will still be an Eagle in 2026. And if I'm wrong, all that means is that the Patriots finally caved and met the Eagles' asking price, in which case, I applaud Howie for finally getting it done and ending this, because I'm sick and tired of it. We move on. Our next topic is the Philadelphia Flyers winning both of their first 2 games of this playoff series against the Pittsburgh Penguins, taking a 2-0 lead after goaltender Dan Vladar's 27 saves led to a 3-0 shutout victory last night. 19-year-old rookie Porter Martone scored again, making him the first teenager in NHL history to score in each of his first 2 career playoff games. The series heads back to Philly on Wednesday night, where they will look to jump out to a commanding 3-0 lead. Listen, I know a bunch of you guys don't like it when I talk about hockey. I'm a novice hockey fan. I'll be the first person to admit that. But I am not a novice sports fan. I've been watching and following sports my entire life. And I think that there's one thing that I can apply to this that makes sense. It can apply to all sports, but I think it really applies to the Flyers right now. The better team doesn't always win. Sometimes there's just a flat-out hotter team that's playing better than you are, and you're playing them at the wrong time. And I think that's the Philadelphia Flyers right now. And I see a lot of people online who are just absolutely praying that the Flyers just make it out of this series. Just beat Pittsburgh, and then whatever happens after that, we're good. If you lose to Carolina, you lose to Tampa, that's cool. Let me ask you a question. Why stop there? If this team can beat Sidney Crosby, Evgeny Malkin, and Chris Letang, that's 9 Stanley Cups between the 3 of them. They've each won 3. Why can't they beat the Carolina Hurricanes or the Tampa Bay Lightning? And let me use an example that will both get my point across and enrage you. Remember when the Phillies lost to the Arizona Diamondbacks in 2023? The Phillies were easily the better team, in my opinion. And not for nothing, I still fully believe that if they had won that series, they would have beat the Texas Rangers in the World Series. Didn't matter. Same thing with us in the Padres in 2022. No reason why we should have beat them to get to the World Series. Phillies were the hotter team at the perfect time. If the Flyers keep this up and keep believing in one another, they're just as dangerous as any of the front runners in the NHL playoffs right now. This team is playing with a confidence that I think, if kept up, can absolutely take them to the Stanley Cup Finals. Am I saying that's gonna happen? No, absolutely not. I'm not that bold. But this already feels like a Cinderella story. And I don't think the Flyers are done yet. I don't. The way they're playing gives me a lot of reason to believe that they have a lot of gas left in the tank. If they beat Pittsburgh, anything's possible from there. Oh, by the way, Porter Martone is one of the most impressive rookies I've ever seen in any sport. I've never seen a 19-year-old kid be so unafraid of the big moments. I look forward to watching him play in a Philadelphia Flyer jersey for a very long time. Our last topic is the struggling Phillies have lost 6 games in a row and dropped themselves to 4th place in the National League East with a 8-14 record early on this season. They have been playing lifeless and uninspired baseball since the season started, and it has led to people speculating that manager Rob Thompson is on the hot seat. Remember a few episodes ago where, everybody was kind of freaking out about how we hadn't scored any runs against the San Francisco Giants, and I got on this very podcast and I said to everybody out there, it ain't time to panic yet. I'll let you know when that time has come. Panic now. With the way this team is played, Tomper should be on the hot seat. Quite frankly, he should have been on the hot seat for each of the last 2 playoff series that we've lost to. And don't get me wrong, I think that Rob Thompson is a good manager. I really do. I think he's a solid manager, but I hate the way he strategizes. I think he's horrible at it, and I don't say that lightly. I've long had a problem with the way he scripts his moves ahead of time and never breaks from the script, no matter what the situation calls for. And with the expectations that were still surrounding the Phillies coming into this season, it only makes sense that Tomper's on the hot seat. The manager is always the first one to be blamed. This situation is no different. And while I think Thompson has plenty of flaws as a manager, I think we really ought to be talking about Dave Dombrowski's decisions a lot more than we should be talking about Tomper's. It was clear as day last season that the Phillies core was aging and that their championship window was closing and closing fast. There were 2 obvious options on how to handle it. Option A, try to revitalize that team by bringing in a big bat that can help the aging core go on another run. We're talking Kyle Tucker. We're talking Bo Bichette. Neither of those happened. Exhibit B, start a small rebuild by dumping some big contracts and seeing what you have in these young prospects like Painter and Crawford and Miller, all these different guys. Dombrowski opted for neither of those and decided to run it back with the same aging core and closing championship window. All of the big moves the Phillies made this offseason were re-signings. I mean, Kyle Schwarber, Christopher Sanchez, JT Realmuto, Jesus Luzardo, etc. It's all re-signings. The only 2 people they brought in to be new faces were right fielder Adolis Garcia and relief pitcher Brad Keller. You want to know how they're doing so far this year? Garcia's hitting .208 with 2 homers and 5 RBIs, and Keller has a 4.15 ERA so far. I understand that Tomper hasn't been great, but I'll be honest, I don't really understand what it is he's supposed to do to make these guys better. Seriously, what is he supposed to do? How is he supposed to make Taijuan Walker an effective member of our starting rotation that us paying him $18 million a year can't already do? How is he supposed to make Adolis Garcia have an 800 OPS and be a productive part of our lineup when his ceiling is more than likely the 641 OPS he's currently at? Looking back at the decisions Dombrowski made this offseason, I almost feel stupid for not seeing this regression coming. We're seeing this Phillies core hit a wall right now. JT Realmuto, Bryce Harper, Kyle Schwarber, and Trey Turner are all 32 years of age or older. That is the Phillies offensive core. We aren't even out of April yet, and it feels like the season is spiraling out of control. They need to figure it out, and they need to figure it out fast. Or we're going to see Tomper gone, we're going to see Dombrowski gone, and we're going to see a whole lot of other familiar faces start to go away over the next 6 to 8 months. If the Phillies decide to make a move at manager before the season is over, I won't blame them. But they better also be looking at their GM position as well. That is going to do it for this episode of the Willadelphia Show. Thank you all so much for tuning in once again. Do you think AJ Brown to the Patriots is a done deal? Can the Flyers go all the way, or is this series against Pittsburgh their ceiling? And should the Phillies fire Rob Thompson, Dave Dombrowski, both, or neither? Let me know the answers to all that and more down in the comments. Like and subscribe to Willadelphia Sports, and make sure to follow us on all social media platforms. Once again, my name's Will Barbera. Thanks so much. I'm out of here. Go Flyers, go Sixers, go Birds, and kabooyah.